First item on the agenda is the consent agenda. The commission may request for a consent item to be moved to the regular agenda for presentation and public comment. Otherwise, the consent agenda will be considered in one vote. All items on the consent agenda have been recommended for approval by staff with no opposition received to date. Since some of the items on the consent agenda may require a public hearing, the commission will accept public comment on any item on the consent agenda in one public hearing. Ray, do we have public comment?
There's none.
Okay. First item on the consent agenda is the meeting minutes. And then second is PP 2502 and FP 2504, the Brennick subdivision, section 1, ETJ, preliminary plat covering 2 tracts totaling 81.486 acres, and a final plat for 1 lot of 1.526 acres between Susan Peak Road and US Highway 87 within the ETJ. Does anybody have anything they want to discuss on the consent agenda, or anything we want to talk about moving to the regular agenda? If not, then I will entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, so we got Liz and Joe, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We'll move down to regular agenda. First item is abandonment, and City Council has final approval for approval of abandonments. This is ROW 2501 East 4th Street, SMD number 3. A request to abandon the alley in Miles Addition, Block 41, between 4th and 5th Street, east of Pecos Street.
Thank you, Austin Reed, planner. This one comes to you out of the downtown neighborhood. We're in District Number 3, Harry Thomas's district. The zoning here is light manufacturing, ML, and the vision plan is downtown. As you mentioned, what we have is a request for approval of the abandonment of an alleyway. And you can see the abandonment there in red. This is currently an undeveloped area. The alleyway, as you can see, is dead end. It's never really been used as an alleyway. We were required to notify on this. We received 2 in favor and none who were opposed. Here's a better look at that abandonment. As I said earlier, this has never been utilized as an alleyway. There's no city services within the alley. We don't think that the abandonment would appear to affect traffic patterns, the environment, or surrounding owners. And finally, we think it would help to promote the development of this area as well. With that, we are recommending approval subject to 3 conditions, and these are pretty standard conditions for an abandonment. 1, that payment shall be remitted for the abandoned alley. 2, that they plat to absorb the alley, and then 3 is for the quitclaim deed. Do you have any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Austin? Thank you, Austin.
Thanks.
Do we have any public comment on this one?
If you have any questions for the applicant, otherwise, no.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, so close public comment and go to discussion or a vote.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Patrick and Brittany, all in favor?
Aye.
7-0. All right. Next item is conditional uses. The Planning Commission has final authority to approve for approval of conditional uses. Appeals may be directed to the City Council. First item on conditional uses is CU 2506, 1471 West Loop 306, Single Member District Number 1, a request for a conditional use to allow used car sales in a heavy commercial zoning district.
Good morning, Ray Lineberry, planner.
Good morning.
And this is a conditional use in the Country Club neighborhood, District 1, Tommy Hebert. The zoning is heavy commercial and the vision plan is commercial. They are a window tinting business right now, and they are asking to be able to fix a couple of cars up and sell them. The auto sales is usually in general commercial, doesn't really fit in heavy commercial. This is a zoning map. It is all heavy commercial right in there. They are, I believe it's Suite A there on the end. A few site photos. The businesses in that suite also are an appliance, either appliance repair or appliance, used appliance sales, an electrician office. We mailed out 8 notices. We've received 1 in opposition. They didn't really say anything, they just checked the box. So staff is recommending approval with 3 conditions: that there be no more than 10 cars for sale on the lot at a time, and we will require some paving where any of the vehicles are parked, and that they are required permits and inspections. With that, is there any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Ray? All right. We have public comment.
If you have any questions, the applicant is here.
Do you have any questions for the applicant on this one?
No?
Okay. So we'll close public comment on this one. It is a less intense use than what it's already zoned for. So,
That's a plus.
yeah.
And the applicant's fine with paving the area for the parking spaces?
They did not comment on that, so.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented by staff.
Second.
Brittany and Candy, first and second to approve as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
7-0. All right. Second item on conditional uses is CU 2507, 4155 Arden Road, Single Member District Number 6. A request for a conditional use to allow multifamily residential in a heavy commercial zoning district.
Good morning, Ray Lineberry again. This one is a conditional use in District 6, Larry Miller in the Bluffs. It is currently zoned heavy commercial, and the conditional use is to allow multifamily residential. We mailed out 12, and we have received 0 in favor or in opposition. So it is this area up here, and you can see it is zoned heavy commercial. The vision plan has it as commercial. Multifamily apartments and everything are pretty much kind of a buffer between commercial and residential. So staff does feel that it is fitting in the area. There are some conditions. We will require a zone change within 12 months. The applicant is trying to see if this works. There's a potential buyer that wants it to be multifamily, so they're seeing if this passes first before going through the whole zone change. So the 4 conditions are that it is the development of the subject property shall generally conform to RM1 zoning. All lighting shall be fully shielded. An urban design review will be required, and a zone change will be required within 12 months of this conditional use approval. With that, is there any questions?
Can you go back to the slide?
One more?
That's apartment complexes just to the south.
Correct. Yes.
And what was that?
Jim Bass Ford is over here on the side.
Go back to the slide before this one, yeah. So is that a PD where those apartments are?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Why is that a PD? Do you know?
I do not know. I did not look at that.
And obviously, I mean, before anything had to be developed, we'd have to approve a preliminary plat, and
Correct.
at that point, we could look at connectivity and traffic.
Correct.
Okay. Does anybody have any more questions for Ray? Okay, we have
Yeah.
public comment on this
The
one.
applicant representative is here. Did you want?
Okay.
Good morning, Russell with SKG Engineering. This is a wholly platted lot, so technically, plat is not required because it already is platted as a fully contiguous lot. So all they'd have to do is technically submit for a building permit, urban design review, meet the conditions of this. What it is that the seller does not want to do a zone change, 'cause just in case this deal falls through, they feel that this is a downgrading of the property, so the seller doesn't want to rezone it, but the buyer's requiring it to be approved for RM1 use before they'll buy it. So that's why we're doing this as kind of the interim gap. This is the same group that purchased and developed the multifamily project there off of Wolf Creek in the Bentwood area. So this is a serious multifamily developer. You'll have another case coming before you, I guess, for the zone change to the south of this, that they're under contract to purchase the entirety of this property, not only the CH zone stuff, but the land to the south of it. So other than that, I'd be happy to answer any questions and would ask for your approval.
Any idea how many units they had in mind?
From what I'm hearing, they're talking like they may do something similar to what they did over there at the Bentwood area up front. They seem to say that fits pretty well. It's that people appreciate and like that over the multifamily stuff. And so at this point, they're looking on layouts, but at this time, I haven't seen a specific layout on what it could be. But they have talked about something similar to the Wolf Creek.
I guess the only concern I have with, this and the case that we're fixing to look at is just connectivity and additional traffic flow and how it connects to, I guess, comes through there and goes, what is it? Northwest is pretty narrow road and access to Arden, I don't know. Obviously you guys are gonna have to work through that, but I just,
They'll try to get as many, Arden Road is TxDOT controlled, so we'll have to deal with TxDOT access management and their separation requirements. So at most, we'll be able to get 2 entrances onto Arden Road just by TxDOT's criteria. And so, ultimately, they're gonna try to get as many as they can, hopefully 2. And so, yes, the Northwest Drive it's just a local road, if you will, for that area. Green Hill kind of tends to be the challenge when you try to drive by Family Power Sports and they've got boats and everything parked down both sides and everywhere else. But yes, this area, being Arden Road, this one has really direct access to Arden Road. So this, I believe, is really an easy one to put a multifamily deal. The one to the south, hopefully because it's similar owners, they will allow some connectivity, if you will. And, they look to, when they do these projects, the larger they can do these, the better it works because you only have to have one office, if you will, to serve more units, so it'll be under most likely the same ownership, and they'll combine all of this stuff together. But it'll most likely be a phased effort because this is a large tract to try to do multifamily all at once on.
Well, if you compare it to like the Wolf Creek Apartments over in Bentwood, I believe they've got 2, maybe 3 entrances onto the access road, and then I think 2 or 3 going down the side on Wolf Creek. So I would assume that would be fairly similar layout, correct?
Possibly, this one, they have more frontage on Arden Road on this one. On the other one, they had a little more maybe similar frontage, more equal on the other one. But yeah, they tried to have a lot of, and Wolf Creek was a minor collector, so it was really suited for that,
Right.
perfect for that location. This is similar to that, but yes, there's, and depending on which way traffic is going, I could see a lot of traffic moving north to Arden Road to be able to get on the loop and go around, or traffic going either to Green Hill or taking northwest to the south if they're wanting to go south or west. So I could see traffic splitting and not necessarily concentrating one direction over the other.
Yeah, I think that's what you'd want.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, thank you very much, and would ask for your approval.
Thank you.
So I also did want to add that I thought these were just for the zoning case that is next, but one of them is for this conditional use. Ford is saying they are opposed. And it says that they're concerned that the change could affect their future plans with their CGCH property, and they're concerned about the volume and traffic that it would create.
Okay. Is there any more public comment?
No.
So we'll go ahead and close public comment and open it up for discussion or motion from the group.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Yeah, I second.
Motion from Brittany, second from Patrick. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 7-0. All right, that does it for conditional uses. Next case, or next item on the agenda is rezonings and comprehensive plan amendments. City Council has final authority for approval of rezonings and amendments to the comprehensive plan. First item in the rezonings is Z2509 Northwest Drive and Green Hill Road, Single Member District Number 6. A request for approval of a zone change from RS1 Single Family Residential and GC General Commercial to RM1 Low Rise Multifamily Residential for the lot located at Lot 2 in Section 3 of Block 3 in Arden Acres subdivision.
Good morning, Ray Lineberry again. This is directly south of what we just looked at. So this is in the Bluffs neighborhood, District 6, Larry Miller. The vision plan is neighborhood and commercial, and it is about 40 acres, a little over. And they are requesting to rezone from RS1 and CG to RM1. We sent out 29 notices. We've received 2 in opposition. I know there's only 1 star. I couldn't figure out where their other property is. It just said Northwest Drive. So, but it was Ford. So they own another lot. I'm wondering if it might be this little strip right here, that maybe our maps considered it a separate lot. But so they sent 2 opposition. Again, it was that they are worried about their property value and the increase in traffic. Oh, and we did receive 1 other in opposition that I printed out that I didn't get to update my slide for you. There is a copy printed out of their concern. But it is, if you see, there is single-family residential is right here, and then on the very corners of Northwest is the general commercial. And then on the other side, the vision plan, the red is commercial, and then the yellow is neighborhood. And again, RM1 kind of buffers between both of those, so it is fitting in both of those vision plans. So staff does feel it is compatible, as there is already apartments there, and it will help develop a vacant lot. It's been vacant for quite some time, and it does not look like there'll be any adverse effects on the natural environment. So with that, staff is recommending approval. Is there any questions?
Questions for Ray?
And then
Thank you,
Russell is
Ray.
the one that signed up.
As Mr. Gelly's coming up, just to remind y'all, RM1 is the lower intensity multifamily. It has a gross unit of 25 units per acre. So if that's in your mind, so.
Okay, thank you.
Russell with SKG Engineering. So the southern part of this property is part of the Red Arroyo floodway, floodplain. So it's really, of this 40 acres, there's maybe a net of 32 to 35 that's going to be able to be used because we have some floodplain. And then from a drainage perspective, we're going to have to put a detention basin somewhere along that south area too. We had looked at this some 10 years ago and even got some plats approved for a single-family deal there with the seller of this property, and he never moved forward with that. And he had, as part of that design, we had a kind of a detention basin plan there before it entered the Red Arroyo because we have to mitigate our drainage. And so it's not going to be a full 40 acres. Some of that's going to be left open, if you will, for floodway and stormwater mitigation. The family power sports, well, I understand kind of their concerns of traffic. They're a big generator of a lot of congestion in that area, so it's kind of interesting and that they're calling them out on that. There should not be an adverse impact to Ford. They'll have their rights to do what their zoning allows them to do. Because of the separation of the road, would there have to be a fence built? Okay. So, other than that, we would just ask for your approval. This is the developer that we believe develops a good project. As we all know, multifamily and housing is a need for San Angelo. So would ask for your approval and would be happy to answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Russell?
Thank you very much.
Can't let Russell off this easy, guys. Somebody ask him something. Thank you, Russell. Any more? Okay, so we're going to close public comment and open it up for discussion. I asked about the road width and connectivity. I think there's a little bit of a challenge, with some of it coming in off of Houston Hart, but no, I believe it's the same developer, and so as long as there can be some kind of connectivity plan that's incorporated into this whenever it moves forward through the development, then I think a lot of that can be alleviated. I do think that type of use makes a lot of sense for this particular location. It's in between general commercial and residential, and so I think that's a good transitional
Good buffer.
location. So that's kind of my thoughts.
When you said same developer, are you meaning about the one we just got through hearing?
That's my understanding, yes.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense for it to be really one project. It helps, I think, in a lot of ways, really kind of.
Right.
Make a motion to approve as presented by staff.
Second.
A motion by Brittany, a second by Joe. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 7-0. All right, second case is Z2416, CP 2406. Oh, this is the one. Is this the one? No, that's the next one where you really nailed me. Okay. Z2416 and CP 2406, 2802, 2810, and 2830 North Chadbourne Street, single member district number 4. A request to rezone from general heavy commercial CGCH to heavy commercial at 2830 North Chadbourne and to general commercial CG at 2802, 28 and 2810 North Chadbourne, and a comprehensive plan amendment from neighborhood center to commercial on all 3 properties.
Good morning, Ray Lineberry, planner. This is in the Reagan neighborhood, Lucy Gonzalez, District 4. It is neighborhood center in the vision plan and currently. And it is a little over an acre, almost 2 acres if you add all them up. And so this is a project, the 2830 up here received some tiers funding, and part of the I guess, contract with Tiers funding is the city would like to do away with the CG/CH zoning and either be just CG or just CH, not have it mixed like that. So part of the deal is to rezone to one of them. So 2830 is going to heavy commercial. There is a car mechanic shop behind there that CH, it fits better under CH. And then these other two are a dental office, and then this one is vacant, so general commercial on these two. And then if you see on the vision plan side, it is just pulling the commercial up. So that way the vision plan now matches. So we sent out 26 notices. We have not received any feedback at all in support or opposition. Staff does feel that it fits in the area, as right along Chadburn it is mostly commercial. So it does fit the community need. There's no adverse effects on the natural environment. So staff is recommending approval on the zone change and on the comprehensive plan amendment for all three properties. With that, is there any questions?
Could you flip back to the zoning map? There.
So it's not really changing. Again, everything that they do would fit under the zoning that we have chosen. It is just, the city has decided to try to start getting away from that CG/CH, the shared zoning, and just pick one.
What prompts these changes? I mean, is it the city that's prompting this, or the owner of the properties?
The city is prompting this one because of, well, and I guess technically the owner. Since this was a Tiers, they received Tiers funding.
Right.
Part of that agreement between the owner and is they rezone to get it. And like I said, so city staff is kind of cleaning up the rest of that area also.
So yes, in 2000, when our zoning ordinance was adopted, it was a policy of city council at that time to start removing the CG/CH. The Tiers program also adopted that policy when they came into existence. In this case, normally as planners, we're trying to bring the zoning down to be a little more compatible, but we also see this area is a major intersection at 29th and North Chadburn. We do have some existing businesses that are doing heavy commercial, and it seems to have been working for a long time. So we think going to this particular corner of that quadrant of intersection being heavy commercial is still appropriate to allow those businesses to continue, maybe help that vacant property be a little better. You can see where it says neighborhood center, that's usually a lighter intensity use, but there's a lot of different things going on there, from retail shops to automotive type of shops, as well as multifamily and single family. And so it seems to be a good blend, and we want to kind of continue that node and allow it to continue to develop in a positive way.
Anybody else have any questions for Ray or staff? Do we have any public comment?
We do, we have one, Shondi Pervell?
Good morning.
Morning.
Okay,
Please just state your name and single-member district or address.
I'm sorry.
Could you just state your name or in single-member district or your address?
Okay, Shondi Parole, and I live at 12 East 28th.
Thank you.
So this is my understanding, this is the second zoning request in the last couple of months, and unfortunately, I was not able to be here for the last one. In fact, there's quite a few families in this area that are fixing to be impacted that couldn't be here. They couldn't take off work. They work at Shannon. We are a low-income community, and unfortunately, we just can't take off to be here to contest this. So I would like to kind of talk about it a little bit. So by rezoning this to heavy construction, studies suggest that 5% to 20% decline in property value. That would be absolutely detrimental to my home. Absolutely detrimental. We have a young family that just bought their first home. They're in their 20s. And they're fixing to have to sell it because they're expecting another child. They just bought their home. And this would be detrimental to them as well. Not to mention the higher vehicle traffic. The noise levels by heavy construction can increase by 10 to 20 decibels. And there is a statistic that increased commercial activity to 5% to 15% rise in crime rates in these types of situations. I am pro-business, I really am. I really support small business, but I work in real estate, I work for a realtor. We have numerous properties in this city that are already zoned for this type of area that wouldn't impact people like me. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. I think it's important to understand exactly what's being proposed here because it sounds like there may be a little bit of misconception about that.
Okay.
So the property that is in question is currently zoned CGCH, which is general commercial, heavy commercial.
Right.
And so really, more than anything, this is like just a cleanup by city to separate the two. And so a portion of it will be general commercial and a portion will be heavy commercial, which is really not increasing or changing the intensity of what's allowed on the property as it is today. And so, you know, the other thing I think that's a positive thing for this property is the fact that they're utilizing tiers funds, and that's part of this process, is that it's really just kind of a cleanup of previous zoning definitions to current zoning.
And I understand that. And 3 months ago was the actual hearing to rezone, and I was unable to be here for that. People in my area, they don't realize what kind of impact that had. And I'm just here to say that I'm against it. I mean, I've seen these properties, I looked at these properties, they look awful. The buildings are in disarray. I mean, it's absolutely awful.
Part of the process of the tiers funds is the applicant can apply for money set aside from the city, and a lot of that is for the improvement of the building. So having that building improve aesthetically on the exterior will actually have a positive impact on the neighborhood, because then, you know, people might start painting exteriors and really kind of just cleaning up and taking pride in home ownership. And that's a lot of what the tiers is doing, and that's a lot of what the city is doing on these cleanup projects, in order to make the zoning make a little bit more sense. And again, this is actually more a lighter zoning and more of a transitional zoning into residential, because in the current zoning, really anything could go there that would be a heavier or more intense use. If it was a different owner buying it, maybe they put an auto shop there or something like that, that would actually have a harder impact on the surrounding properties, if that makes sense.
Yes, ma'am. It's my understanding that y'all are trying to choose between commercial, general commercial, and heavy commercial, is that correct?
No, well, there is no more CGCH zoning. That went away in 2000.
Okay.
And so that is what is currently on the property. So it could be anything that would fit in CG all the way up to heavy commercial. And so basically they're just cleaning it up to fit today's zoning, which is CH and CG. So it's really not a change in intensity of what's allowed. In fact, in a portion of it, it's a reduction in the intensity.
Well, I just have to say that the people in my neighborhood, it's not a matter if they have pride or not. If you pull up my house on Google Maps, it's absolutely gorgeous. But the only reason that it looks like that is because we kind of have a little bit of money to do that, and the people in my community do not have the money to take care of their homes like they should. So I don't believe that property getting a makeover, it needs a makeover, but I don't believe that will help the other property owners in the area.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here and sharing your thoughts.
And Chairman, I do want to clarify, and they did receive notices a few months ago. We did not bring that case forward at that time as we were making sure that we actually noticed the area properly. And so y'all did not actually have a hearing on this until today. So this is the first hearing for this zone change.
Okay, thank you. We have any more public comment? Okay. Go ahead and close public comment and open it up for discussion or a vote.
Is the tiers request for this just on the 2830?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
Okay.
Staff was looking at it, and we were trying to make the connectivity from the commercial to the south up to that lot, as opposed to just doing that one lot. The one that was vacant, 2810, and then the 2802. After staff discussion with them, they didn't see any issues moving to the heavy commercial zoning because they technically have that today, and their businesses would still operate within that same zoning.
The TIR's application process, I'm assuming that they have to give a detailed plan of
Yes,
what
ma'am.
they-
And the funding that they received was facade improvements and roof improvements for all three structures there. They actually got $75,000 per structure. Now, again, that's contingent on getting a zone change, trying to move that through. Again, they have CGCH, and so it will not affect those businesses on that property, but it's just really a cleanup item. The applicant doesn't have to pay for the zone change. The TIRS funds actually pay for the zone change and those types of things. And so this is an opportunity for us to go through and clean up. I think y'all had one maybe last month that was also a cleanup that was going from CGCH to just general commercial. They were splitting an older building into 2 retail spaces.
Can we put staff recommendations back up, please? Sorry, Ray. Okay, do we need to take 2 separate votes or a single vote on this? Okay, thank you. I'll make a motion to approve a staff recommendation.
Second.
Motion from Brittany, second from Liz. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 7-0. All right. Next item is Z2502. I got to catch my breath for this one. Knickerbocker from Austin Street to Jackson Street, Single Member District Number 5. A request for approval of a zone change from ML Light Manufacturing to CG General Commercial at the properties located at 999, 1131, 1151, 1201, 1309, 1355, 1407, 1459, and 1500 Knickerbocker, and from ML Light Manufacturing to RM2 High-Rise Multifamily Residential for the properties located at 1426 and 1428 Western Court.
Okay, good morning, Ray Lineberry, planner. So this one is in the ASU College Hills neighborhood. It is District 5, Karen Hesse Smith, and it totaled about 23 and a half acres. I'm going to not read all those addresses. So this one came forward because if you remember, a few months ago, we had a conditional use request for 999 Knickerbocker. It was the third one in 2 years. That property seems to be used as commercial, and it is zone light manufacturing, so they are constantly having to get a conditional use. 2 of the other properties have a conditional use to operate in light manufacturing as commercial, so staff took a look at the area, and we've noticed that these properties that are listed all act as general commercial, not light manufacturing, and then the apartments are 3 stories, so they would fit in RM2. So this is staff's way of cleaning this area up, so that way they don't have to keep returning for a conditional use. So if you see the zoning, that whole area for some reason was zoned light manufacturing, probably because of the railroad. The vision plan is commercial, not industrial, so it does fit the vision plan. We did mail out 27 notices. I also went to each of those properties and knocked on the door. Most of them either didn't see an issue with it or were not interested to discuss it with me. So we haven't really heard from anybody. I did actually get a phone call from Reese Albert, who is these properties over here. He didn't really say anything more than he was asking questions. He thought it involved his property, and it does not. So other than that, we have not received any in support or in opposition. So again, city staff took a look at this, and all of the right along Knickerbocker is commercial. If you even, let me go back to the zoning, I mean, it is just general commercial along in there, most of it. So city staff does feel that it does fit in that area. It also is a major arterial, Knickerbocker is, which commercial fits in that area, and there is no adverse effects on the natural environment. So with that, staff is recommending approval for the zone change of general commercial on all the properties except 2, and the other 2 properties would be RM2.
Okay.
Is there any questions?
Have questions on this one?
And this is a city-initiated request. This is not coming from a property owner. We did discuss this maybe November-ish, that we've been working through these things, and just want to compliment Ray on her hard work of actually contacting all the property owners and working with them to make sure their fears are put at ease, that we're not trying to change something that would be detrimental to them in the future.
Anybody have any more, or any questions?
And there
Do you have
is
any-
no public
No
comment.
public comment? Yeah, I just want to echo Aaron's comments. I appreciate you reaching out to each one of those individual property owners and try to make sure that they understand what's being proposed. So that means a lot. So I guess I need to close public comment and open it up for discussion. But I think this area has essentially been built out and is being used for this purpose anyway. And we have seen several cases come forward where they're having to get conditional uses or variances and make various requests to operate as general commercial business because it is zoned light manufacturing. And I just don't think that's the way that it's developed. So I'll entertain.
I'll make a motion to approve the staff recommendation.
All right. Is that Lyndon with a second?
Yes.
Motion by Brittany, and all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 7-0. Moving on to Z 2503 and CP 2501, 217, 221 East Avenue K, single member district number 3. A request for a zone change from general heavy commercial CGCH zoning district to low-rise multifamily residential RM1, and a comprehensive plan amendment from industrial to commercial located approximately 217 and 221 Avenue K.
So Ray Lineberry, planner. This one is in the Fort Concho neighborhood, District 3, Harry Thomas, 1.859 acres. It is a request to rezone from CGCH to RM1 multifamily, and a comprehensive plan amendment from industrial to commercial. We mailed out 18 notices, and we have one in opposition that you guys, I also printed that one out, I believe, for you to read. I forget who it's from, but it's the business on 109. I believe they're a welding shop is what they said. Yeah. And that is the only opposition and support we received. So the zoning on the left, or my left, it is currently CGCH, and then the vision plan shows it as industrial. Again, RM1 is kind of a buffer between commercial and residential. If you, up here, these are currently residential, they're not commercial. So it is being used as residential already, at least to the north. To the south is where the commercial really starts. So this city staff believes this will really create a buffer between that residential right there and then the commercial to the south. So again, staff has found the surrounding area is already a mixed use of residential and commercial. And again, multifamily creates a buffer between them. It is a vacant lot. It has been for a while, so this will allow some development in there. And there is no adverse effects. And so with that, staff is recommending approval of the zone change to RM1 and the comprehensive plan amendment from industrial to commercial. Is there any questions?
Could you talk a little bit about what is allowed, and Aaron mentioned it earlier, but just the difference between RM1 and RM2, like we just looked at on Knickerbocker's RM2, this is RM1, and I think it's just for everybody's information what.
RM1 does allow up to 2 stories, actually 2.5 with the attic, but 2 stories. It does also allow single-family residential, and I believe 2-family residential. So it kind of gives allows them to be a little bit more choosy in which one they pick. So it is kind of a multifamily district, and RM2 just allows 3 stories is the highest? No, 3 and up.
Yeah, it has no limit in height, and you can do 100% coverage of a lot, where in RM1, you can only do 75% coverage of a lot. So there's still going to be some open space and some green space. And in this particular area, if you look there on the vision plan, that open space, that actually goes to the Lone Wolf Bridge and then over to the Glenmore Park area, right along the South Concho River. And having some multifamily in here that's giving some buffer, we're really starting to see this kind of commercial and residential node around Avenue L and Oaks and Chadburn in that area that's got some redevelopment, and maybe this is another catalyst that continues to give some redevelopment in the area.
Anybody else have questions for Ray? Is there any public comment on this one?
The applicant's representative? Yeah, Erica.
Good morning.
Good morning, Erica Wilde with Wilde Engineering and Surveying. And I'm just asking that you all approve as presented and here for any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Erica? All right, thank you. We're going to close public comment and open it up for discussion, the group.
Thanks, Ray. Make a motion to approve as presented by staff.
Second.
Motion by Brittany, second by Joe. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 7-0. Next case is Z2507, 2621 South Bryant, Single Member District Number 3, a request for approval of a zone change from RS1 Single Family Residential to CN Neighborhood Commercial for the property located at 2621 South Bryant.
Thank you, Austin Reed Planner. This one comes to you out of Rio Vista, District Number 3. The vision plan here is Neighborhood Center. It's 1.145 acres, and we have a request to rezone from RS1 to CN. Mailed out 20 notices, received 0 in support and 1 opposed from across South Bryant. Here's a look at the current zoning on the left and the vision plan on the right. You can see it connects to other CN zoning. And then you can see for the vision plan, there's neighborhood center up and down the South Bryant corridor. I think it was last month or the month before, rezoning passed through here, north of there on 502 and 504 West Avenue V, for something similar to go to CN. So look at our rationale. We think it's compatible with the surrounding area, frontage on South Bryant, the adjacency to other CN, and the alignment with the comprehensive plan means that neighborhood commercial here would be appropriate. We think that approval of the zone change would help to promote the renovation of the property, and we don't think that there would be any immediate adverse effects on the natural environment. So with that, we are recommending approval. Do you have any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Austin?
I just have one question. Do you know why, like what the opposing person's view was?
I think they really just saw a zone change from residential to commercial, and I don't think they wanted more commercial there. I took that over the phone. It wasn't a written notice, so.
Okay. Anybody else?
I believe it has an older structure on site that's, I think it's unused right now, but I think they're going to tear it down and redevelop.
Thank you, Austin.
Thanks.
Do we have any public comment on this one? Okay. So we're going to close public comment. I think it makes sense with frontage on Bryant. It definitely fits within the vision plan. And as Austin mentioned, we just rezoned for the same reason, one just about a block up, I think in our last meeting. So kind of makes sense that it would kind of build out this way with that frontage along South Bryant to me, so.
Motion to approve is presented by staff.
A motion by Brittany and a second by Candy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 7-0. Next case is Z2510 Kirby Park, SMD number 2, a request to rezone from single-family residential RS1 to neighborhood commercial to allow park and recreational uses located at Kirby Park, approximately 1401, 1402, and 1403 Edmond Boulevard.
Thank you, Chairman. Aaron Vanoy, Director of Planning Development Services. This is also a city-initiated rezoning for Kirby Park. It is just for the park property. It's not anybody else's private property. But you can see Kirby Park there on your left, approximately 24 acres. It's currently zoned single-family residential, and we're moving it to neighborhood commercial, which supports park activities. It's going to support the splash pad and signage for the splash pad, as well as other activities of, mobile food units that may go in there and want to sell, and other vendors that may come and do classes and things like that that are for fee for the park area. This is SMD number 2, Tom Thompson, and in the Angelo Heights neighborhood. So you can see here on the left is the vision plan. You can see it says it's for open space. That's what our vision plan did for park areas and along our Concho River corridor area. While it may not be fully open space, that we actually have programming going on there, it's still compatible. On the right side, you can see the single-family residential just went really with the Angelo Heights all the way over to the river area. And then as you get closer to Chadburn, it gets a little more intense with manufacturing and commercial districts through there. So we did mail out 11 notices as required. We did receive one back, I believe, maybe Friday afternoon from the church right here, and they are in support of this change. It does not impact those neighborhoods or the neighbors to the side, but it allows for the Parks and Recreation Department to do more programming there. They've always done programming there, but they're able to do more programming under neighborhood commercial that helps this community part service multiple neighborhoods in the area. We did go through the rationale, and we did talk about how our vision plan just is a little bit inadequate, talking about the just open space. But as we update those things in the future, that we'll be looking at what really helps support our parks and recreation areas. Kirby Park is a very unique park. It's got a lot of amenities, and want to continue to have those amenities for our community. And allowing neighborhood commercial zoning district here will allow that expansion of what they're wanting to do with splash pads, continue to to have their vendors come through and service that. And again, neighborhood commercial is a low-intensity type zoning, so that if ever in the future the city leases a piece of it off to somebody, it still limits what could go in there in the future. With that, staff is recommending approval to have the zone change from RS1 to the neighborhood commercial for the 3 properties at 1401, 1402, and 1403 Edmond Boulevard, which is Kirby Park.
Thank you, Aaron. Anybody have any questions on this one? Do we have any public comment? Okay. So with that, I will open it up for discussion or entertain a motion.
I'll motion. Liz motioned, I'll second.
I don't know who, Liz, how about that? So I've got a motion from Liz, do I have a second? Second. Patrick. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 7-0.
And Chairman, if you don't mind, I'd like to do number 7 and number 8 together, as they're associated. We can do one motion for both, or we can do individual motions for both at the end, but we can read them together into the record, and I'll do one presentation.
Perfect. So the next case is Z2511 Pinion Ridge, SMD number 6, a request for a zone change from ranch and estate R&E zoning district to a single-family residential RS1 located west of Pinion Ridge Drive and Pendleton Parkway. And the next case after that is Z25-12 Trippington Way, single-member district number 6, a request for a zone change from ranch and estate R&E zoning district to single-family residential RS1 located west of Trippington Way and Pendleton Parkway.
Thank you, Chairman. Again, Aaron Vanoy, Director of Planning Development Services. This is an expansion of the Prestonwood neighborhood, if you will, or Prestonwood addition, that you can kind of see these blocks through here that have just progressively been going out this way. This is an extension right up here. This is Trippington Way that will extend out here. And then at the southern end is going to be Pinion Ridge, which comes across here as a minor collector and will extend out there. There's a couple of areas with this development that they will work on, detention area below here and a detention area up here to satisfy some of the stormwater items. This is currently outside the city limits, but they have an annexation petition that was accepted by City Council and an annexation hearing in April to bring it into the city. These are the rezonings that will accompany that, because as you bring property into the city, it comes in as ranch and estates. What they're looking for is the RS1 zoning district. And so we're bringing this forward today so that we can get it at the same timing at City Council and get those hearings. So this will be future SMD number 6, Mr. Larry Miller's, and in the Bonham neighborhood. So as you can see, they've had a preliminary plat that they've had on file since 2022. You can see the layout. They have, again, those single-family home lot sizes out there. And so this really is just this little expansion out to, I don't exactly remember how many lots out, but just out through here, there's that kind of detention area. It will not connect this as of right now. There will be this open space in between, but then Trippington Way will come out here a little bit and also have the detention there. As the housing market will dictate when they will start adding these other roads over time. So up here is just that kind of a big area. They're going to bring forward some final plats to plat that out. This is the Pinion Ridge area. And then this, although it's turned on the side, this is the Trippington Way that comes out here and comes down for a certain distance. So again, the future plan does go out into the ETJ. That is neighborhood. You can see the one on the right where the zoning is only in the city limits. You can see there's some multifamily, there's a multifamily project that happened off of Appaloosa. Then we're going to start filling in over time as single family keeps continue to build out that way. We did send out 37 notices, and you can notice that we did, because this is outside in the ETJ and we haven't actually broken off those little pieces, our software doesn't like just little pieces. It took the whole property, and so we technically over-notified. So that's why you see that all the way outlined in there, but it is those small areas. So we did notify those areas that were needed. We did get 18 in support. I did get over I believe they were either came in on Thursday or Friday, and I was not able to update the slides, but we did have 2 property owners, but a total of 3 letters that were in opposition. Because we had 2 areas, we sent 2 letters, and so some of the property owners got 2 letters, which is okay. But their concern was this will create traffic, and while we do believe it will create some traffic, the intensity of that is single-family housing, and between the 17 acres, you're probably adding less than 30 houses in this first stage, and then as they move forward, they're going to have that connection back to Appaloosa. Again, Pinon Ridge is a minor collector that goes back and connects over to some other areas, and then Trippington Way, there will probably not be as much traffic on Pendleton with Trippington Way at first to begin with, so. We did look at this as just a continuation of the Prestonwood addition. The developer has got a long-term plan here. They've got their preliminary plat that's set out and saying this is what we plan to do over time. It is compatible with the vision plan and with the zoning density in the area. As we all know, San Angelo continues to need single-family homes built in our community. This is an area that is desirable by folks in our community and outside to come and buy homes and live, and it is close to schools and community shopping amenities. So with that, the city staff is recommending approval of both of these cases to move from the ranching and estate to the RS1 zoning district. The total acreage is at 17 acres on Pinon Ridge and Trippington Way, but it is for Z25-11 and Z25-12. Staff is recommending approval of that zone change.
Thank you, Aaron. Does anybody have any questions for staff? All right. Do we have any public comment?
The applicant, Rocky?
Okay. Good morning.
Rocky Templin, Mills Development, Single Member District 6. Just ask that y'all accept it as presented. If y'all have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Thank you.
I didn't do 2 vote or 1 vote?
I think we're going to do 2. We need 2 votes, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Is that it for public comment? So we're going to close public comment and entertain a motion for discussion.
I'll go ahead and make a motion on Z25-11 in favor of staff's recommendation. And I will also make a motion on Z25-12 in favor of staff's recommendation.
I will second.
Well, either one of us, whatever. One on one or one on the other.
All right, how about Z25-11? We have a motion by Brittany, second by Lyndon. And Z25-12, we have a motion by Brittany, second by Candy. All in favor of motion on Z25-11? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 7-0. And Z25-12, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And any opposed? 7-0. That is the end of our zoning section, and so our next item is public comment.
I incorrectly did not move it up, so
Gotcha.
we should have already done it, but
Okay.
we don't have any anyways, so.
Okay. So there being none, next item is planning director's report.
So just a couple of minor things. As Ray may have mentioned, we do currently have a joint planning commission and city council meeting scheduled for April the 15th. I will let you know there is some discussion that date may move, but that's not finalized, and so we will let you know if that is changed. But currently, it has been adopted by resolution at City Council for April the 15th, and that would hear the cultural district and the sign ordinance amendments, and then they would go into regular City Council meeting after that. We've had 2 town halls, one for each of those. We did get some good feedback on both of those. We do have second town halls scheduled, and so March 31st, at 6 p.m. at Stevens Library, we will have the sign ordinance amendment town hall. And then at April the 1st at the San Angelo Fine Arts Museum at 6 p.m. We will also have the Cultural District's Town Hall. Those will be the second town halls that we've had. We've had some good interactions with citizens as well as sign companies to understand how these ordinances may or may not impact them, and we have made some tweaks to the ordinance to help ease some of those concerns. We do have new drafts that will be on our website this afternoon or first thing in the morning of those ordinances. The Planning Commission, y'all will have a packet by the end of Monday of next week for those two cases for the joint meeting, so that you can start reviewing those, look at the ordinance language. If you have questions, you'll be able to reach out to staff, and we'll be happy to clarify items in there or how the impacts are. But you guys will have at least 2 weeks to review that before you have to have the discussion at the joint meeting, so that you can understand what it is that's coming forward. I want to thank staff for being very supportive and working not only their regular cases, but also working on those items to get information out to the public, to make sure that the public is informed, and doing a great job. As y'all saw today, Ray had the lion's share of cases, and she did a great job working on those, which means Austin was probably working the counter and the phones for everybody else that was coming in, and so I really appreciate their work. Karen Putnam's in the back. She's been doing an amazing job coming forward as being a planning tech forward. We have a plan for her to become a planner coming up in the next year, so we're very excited about that. We do have our second planning tech position open and available for people to apply, and so we're going to start those interviews hopefully soon. We've got a number of people that are applying, so we're hoping to get to full staff here soon, and then see where our summer takes us. So we're excited about development in our community, and we're going to continue to work to make San Angelo a great community. So with that, I don't have anything else, Chairman.
All right. Thank you, Aaron. And thanks to the staff for all their hard work on everything. So our next regular meeting of the Planning Commission is scheduled to begin Monday, April 21st, 2025 at 9 a.m. in the East Mezzanine Room at City Hall at 72 West College Avenue. I would just remind everybody that we currently are scheduled to have a joint meeting on April 15th. So we'll have a month full of meetings in April. And I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Brittany and Joe, all in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. Thanks, everybody.